What's up, guys? Um, I'm just really like trying to test out the mic right. What I'm doing is kind of like put myself up here, sound like I can't get this thing to work right now. Currently happening. Turn off my computer. Like if I close the lid, won't turn the auto interface off. But if I do a hard power turn off, it'll turn it off. Takes away from settings. I'm not realizing it, turning it on like that and issue. That skipping. Why is it can't you can't hear it now? What the fuck? Is it skipping like that in the live stream? All right. All right, let me ask you, can you hear? Everything glitched out. The board, the mic, everything. So I'm gonna erase this video. Listen, guys, I'm not talking boxing right now. Just trying to fix this microphone issue and asking if you guys would help me do this by telling me how it sounds and shit. Apparently when I turned off the power one, is it skipping though? When you hear me talk, is the mic going up and down? Like, is there a break in my voice? So if you hear me talking like this, right, is there a delay? Too much of a delay in between? And now the sound effects ain't even coming in. No? So the mic is sounding good. All right, let me try something. Um, I all right. So I'm keep talking. No delay. No delay. All right. So as far as like, okay, so if I speak mad loud, ah, can you hear it break there? Ah, like if I'm mad loud and shit, does it crack right now? Yes, we're gonna let's talk a little bit then. Here, let's see. I know that my sound effects is not working right now. When I have to like program that back into the system, it's just not. They're not on. So, all right, where are your messages? Okay, who is this? Do you know who? Um, probably. I'm probably not really fluent with his name. More than likely, yeah, we can look him right up. Um, and yeah, why don't we do that? Let's just take care of that right now. All right, guys, want to chop it up a little bit? We'll just chop it up real quick. You guys got any boxing questions or any wanna um? If you ever had a boxing question about anything, about a belt, refereeing, sanctioning fees, how things work, um, hold up. This is probably echoing, as you could probably hear my voice. Put it on that. I'm not even set up right. Like I said, I Mike, why this is all happening. Like if I turn off my computer or my laptop a certain way, everything like just turns off. And when it all goes to reboot, it does not connect. If I do a hard turn off, like where like I turn my computer off, my laptop off for the night, then I come in the morning, and that's what seems to be happening. Because I'll have it like set the way I believe it. I'll have it, and then all of a sudden, this shit'll happen. But you know, I gotta learn all this stuff. So your question was, Iki, yes, my Japanese fighter. think he's that 105 guy. Good. Not a lot of people know about him. I remember looking him up, but not being so familiar in the pronunciations of their name is what basically has me not like familiar. But holy, he's eight. He has 8 fights with 5 knockouts. 26 years old. He's 5'3" with a 64-inch arm reach. In Japan, in that weight class, he's ranked as the #1 Japanese fighter in his weight class. Um, yeah, that's him. He's got he fights at 105 pounds. His last fights, all his fights were at 105 pounds. He got a WBO Asian Pacific title. Then he had a Japanese boxing Japanese title, the WBC interim world mid. Then he went for the WBC, which he is now currently the WBC world champion. He has a 12 round fight scheduled against Marvin Ellerby. He looks to be like a guy on the rise. Holy shit balls. His last fight, he fought against a guy with a record of 40 fights with only one loss. That was an experienced fighter. A lot of his fighters have double digit wins in his fighting career. In fact, the only two fighters he fought with single digits was his first fight. Then his second fighter he fought, he came against, he had a record of 16 fights, right? 10 losses, but he was an established fighter. Then he fought another guy um that had he was 3-1. 3 fights with a no contest, no losses. That was it. Everybody else that he fought at double digits. That's pretty good for a good start. Now when you look at Japanese fighters, right? And these kind of fighters, right? Okay. Now, you want to make a comparison to your normal American fighter? Go pull up Keyshawn Davis's any of the American top prospects right now. Look up Bruce Carrington, Keyshawn Davis, any of them. Look at the start, the first 5, 6 fights that they have. None of their fighters are in double digits fighters. They all had went up against fighters that were in single digit fights. See, the Japanese guys right away, right out of the gate, 16 fights, 15 fights, 19 fights, 11 fights, 18 fights, 40 fights, and his next fighter is going to have 21 fights. I mean, his record is only shit, 8-5, and he's already competing for world titles within 10 fights. You're looking at the man's record. I'm finding out as I go right now, right? And he doesn't have 10 fights according to his record. He's already fighting for world titles. He's already fighting gentlemen that have 40 plus fights. Now, I'm telling you, I know this for a fact. If we were to look up, let's make it a fact. his Keyshawn Davis's first 4 fights, he had all. Well, one guy was in 10-digit fights. One had 4, 7, and 8. Yeah, so it goes to show how the Americans bring their fighters along. They bring them along slowly like that. Japanese dudes are really thrown into the deep end. I see, huh? Well, it's really at the. You have to look at it as the Japanese are looking at boxing as like an Olympic style sport where that we're competing for these belts. See, and they view it like that. Um, and like everything they do in the Olympics and everything, that's how you're supposed to view it. So you can see that they throw them in right away. A lot of countries, Mexico does that a lot too with a lot of their young fighters. I've seen a lot of times, time and time again, where a lot of Mexican fighters have been in situations where like it was like sink or swim. You know, they took young Vargas, they did the same thing to him. Um, Julio Cesar Chavez was just a dog. He fought anyone, whether you were a tomato can, a cab driver, the the world champion, a contender. This Julio Cesar Chavez was truly a type of man that just enjoyed fighting. He just enjoyed the violence of it all. At one point in his career, it was well known that Julio Cesar Chavez didn't do anything else but spar. That's all he did at the middle part of his career. He didn't hit pads. He didn't punch the bag. He didn't hit the speed bag. He didn't do any of that. All he did was spar continuously, because he believed that all that other shit just, basically got you in shape. What really got you in shape, in fighting shape, was sparring. Julio Cesar Chavez was a man that he believed in that so religiously that that's all he did. He said, "What the fuck am I going to hit a punching bag that doesn't hit me back? What am I going to learn from that? I already know how to throw a punch. I just got to continuously throw the punch and get my timing down with different kinds of fighters." That's why Julio Cesar Chavez fared so well against a lot of opponents, because he fought so much. He fought so much. Like when he fought like Mildred Taylor. Mildred, well, Taylor, he just didn't move his head enough. He took a lot of damage. Uh, and it goes to show you that Julio Cesar Chavez wasn't your traditionally best crispy speed fighter, but a counter puncher, good place puncher he was. And he was more of a pressure fighter, guys like that. Um, you know, um, a lot of guys uniquely believe different things. And you're gonna hear a lot of things in the sport of boxing. But the one thing you always gotta be aware of, that everything that technique or that method won't always work for every person. I've even heard people say that they don't spar. And like UFC fighter there, what's his name there? The one with the wings, he a former champion, Max Holloway. Max Holloway religiously comes on and says he doesn't spar. He doesn't want to take unnecessary damage or take a risk of being hurt in sparring, when all his training, he says, I already know how to fight. So he looks at it different. So a lot of fighters can view it as the cup half full or half empty. It's up to you as a fighter to realize what you need and to be honest with yourself as a fighter. And that's up to the individual as a fighter themselves. Um, he does. He has a younger brother, really? You know something? Look, a lot can be said about a lot of fighters, right? And you know, a lot can look. You can compare one race of fighters to another race of fighters. I, as a fighting fan, and on one side, have been there. I've been in that room with my family saying that this Latin side of fighters are not that good, right? And what you're suggesting here is that the old argument between Japan and China, who's better? Now that right there, um, in reality, you know, we're all human. Does it make you any greater if you put a name behind my appearance? Just because you call him Chinese, you call him Japanese. That's just a title. In reality, we're all just human. And whoever the better fighter is just because they're the better human being fighter. Okay. You go into that thing where that they categorize us as white, black, Hispanic. Though you do realize though at the end of the day, those are just names and titles. It's you to view a person in a different light. So that if you ever see that person get beat up, now you're gonna think, oh, that race of people, they're weak. I saw them get beat up. They don't know how to fight. That would be a mistake. All you saw was that person getting beat up or that person not fighting well. He doesn't represent everybody else of that race. To view something like that would be a mistake. See, every man is his own man. Me being Puerto Rican doesn't make me any greater than any other man on this planet. What makes me good is me as a fighter. You would have to beat me, not my race, not my name, not what I look like. You're going to have to fight me. So, there's people that look and say, no, by looks, these people look like they're the biggest race of people. Okay. And by stature, these guys are the smaller. All right. So size makes you more intelligent? No. Does muscle make you greater? No. What if the little guy's a better hunter and he'll snipe you from the ridge of the mountain right through your forehead, right? What's all that muscle going to do for you when he can outsmart you? So that's what I mean. It's just to the individual. You are who you are is what I'm trying to say. A title is not going to change you. Just because they call you this doesn't make you a better human being is what I'm trying to say. Don't be fooled by this people being called that. That's what they did to us. They did that to us so that back in the day did have titles. We we would identify ourselves so that if you went somewhere else, no one said or spoke your language, you would be a little intimidated or a little scared. But what you didn't actually realize, you were just in a room with other humans and they were like you. But the world got you thinking that no, unless you hear that they're your same race or you hear your language being spoken, you would be afraid when you're just in a room with humans. Do it the way you want. That was an interesting conversation. yeah, man, it's sometimes it's how you view it. The world can have you. I've been there, still there. I it came to a realization that um, you know, what is it that I truly liked? Would I have liked or lived the same way if I was raised in a different part of the world? If I was introduced to different cultures, different languages? You're damn right. Start to question myself and then, wow, how much is it because these were the things that were around me? As I get older, I start to understand, start to adapt. Like in particular, you notice is boxing. What boxing brings to is I've talked about this. There are a lot of men and women that have this beast inside of them that lives inside of them. Need some way to sit these outlets and mixed martial arts, boxing, football, whatever it is. It's good that we have them. Some people might view our sport as dangerous, and seeing like fighters like Subriel Matias, fatally killed a man in the ring. And some people might vote and say that this is a barbaric sport and that football, we saw that what happened with the Buffalo player and he was hospitalized and he went into cardiac arrest. We've seen basketball players collapse on basketball courts. These kind of things unfortunately happen in sports. But if you did not have sports, and for some of these men and women to have outlets to go to, um, would you like a gang, 17-year-old kids, 6'8", 270 pounds, can run a four whatever, standing on your corner with nothing to do? Oh yeah, by the way, here comes his other boys, the basketball players that you guys canceled all the programs. So they're like 6'10", 7 feet tall, right? Chilling outside your crib, right? And then here comes the hockey players and all the other sports. And then right behind them, all the tough kids, the boxers and the mixed martial arts that never had anything to do with all this built up rage. Just Oh, now they're starting to hang out and talk. Oh shit. Look, they made a club and they got their own matching jackets now. Ain't that cool? You about to have a problem. You need men and women like this to be able to, why do you think they have like all this stuff? What were you gonna do with kids at 14, 6'6"? What were you gonna do with them? You got, so that's why sports is really good in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things that happen, and you know, but when you really look at it, sports have changed a lot of people's lives financially. It also has put in men and women in places had it not been for the sport, maybe they not ever achieved such status. And it really, as a competition level, it brings us closer together. You know, there's no other better moment than watching your country or your favorite athlete win, you know, and the joy that it brings. You can say whatever you want about sports, and I'm pretty sure that sports in general takes big shots from accusations of cheating and script and all this with the world going the way it is and everything, you know, being brought to us by the internet. It was funny. I was speaking to my girlfriend and I was telling her, I've never been in a place in my life that we were connected to the most knowledge in the world. And collectively, we all became dumber. Like we had the most knowledge to the tip of our fingertips, and the world just fucked around and went crazy, bro. Like he just got stupid with it, and it really went like crazy. But I don't want to get too deep into that. But you know, yeah, boxing is just brought different avenues inside of my life. When I used to box and I used to compete, um, I was fairly good. Um, I think that if I had more guidance and more people paid attention to me, maybe different way. Unfortunately, the wrong people paid attention to me, and I took another way. Never developed into the fighter that I should have become. Um, and some of these guys in the gym, I see what they talk about. You got to be a little cuckoo to be a fighter. Um, Day in, day out, wanting to get punched in your face and going in training and getting better. That's a skill. That's a skill. To really want to compete in the sport, and that's a skill. Looking back, I do kick myself in the ass. I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, and I would have liked to have competed, but unfortunately, that's not my story. But look how boxing is. I find another avenue to reinvent myself, to plug myself back in to the sport that I love, and to give back and to give my insight and my knowledge of what I've learned throughout the years of boxing. And it's amazing. I look back and I think about like my dad and all the guys that I've always sat there and chopped it up with talking about boxing. I start to realize how much I actually like knew. So, you know, maybe this was my avenue, know? So, you know, you gotta look at things always differently. Oh yeah. It reminds me of that story of that guy. I don't know where I heard it, but it rings in my head. I don't even know if I'm gonna say it right now. I'll probably mess it up, right? Like I mess up all the names, right? But I forget where I heard this. I think it was on a Joe Rogan podcast, right? And the guy's telling Joe Rogan about a story. And he's like, my son was like, I don't know, I guess his son was like an athlete, and all the town was like backing his son up, right? He fatally breaks his leg, and the guys in the town come up to the father and say to the son, you know, that's unfortunate that your son is going to miss his opportunity in Olympics. He broke his leg. And the father says, maybe. Maybe that was a bad thing, maybe. The guy's like, "You're not mad?" And he goes, "No." He goes, "Maybe it was a bad thing." Then all of a sudden, like, the town goes into war and they draft in all the sons. They come to his house, knock on his door, and they're like, "Yo, your son got to go to the war." But they're looking at him, he got a broken leg. And he's like, "Your son can't go to the war because he has a broken leg. We got to move on." And they leave. And now he's looking at the other guy like sometimes something bad can end up turning out to be good, you know? I probably didn't say the story correctly. I left a lot of things out. I knew I was going to mess it up, but I understood the concept of what it meant, the story. And I just wanted to share that with you. If you can just get the concept behind it. That sometimes in life and shit, something that is messed up, you might not see the blessing in it, but later it may reveal itself. You might be, man, I lost that, but I gained this. This bad happened to me, but this came out of it. So sometimes it's good to view things like that. A little bit give and take, I guess. Oh, who's my top five fighters? Not an accomplishment, but just an ability. Okay, you asked me a question about who my top five is, right? I'm going to answer the question, but I'm not trying to sell my fighters to you. Not trying to change your mind on your top five. You ask me a question, and I'll give you who I believe my top five are. My top 5 fighters might not be like, you know, uh, the GOATs in every weight division, right? But they're my top 5 fighters for maybe because I believe one of them is the greatest, and I believe the other ones were like favorite for me. So, in no particular order, but the top 3 are going to be like what I really believe, right? I really believe the greatest fighter in the world is Floyd Mayweather and to the up to this point until like men like this retire. You can't put him in it. As a favorite right now, he's one of my favorite fighters right now, Ayoya Inoue. But top 5, like all time, he's not in my top 5 because he's my number 1 in today's time. See that? You see that? You see what I'm talking about? Okay. As far as what men did for my sport, who were the men that carried the torch, that kept the sport alive, that did enough so that the viewers and the fire never died? Whether you liked him or hated him, he kept that torch on fire. When other fighters like Mike Tyson, which is probably my favorite fighter of all time, when fighters like him fell and, you know, we didn't have anybody else, Roy Jones during that time, one of my other favorite fighters, he's number 3, right? And when we were going through this time, I just like the only man that was doing it at a superior status was Floyd, man. And he was holding the American crown and our champions up there. All our champions were falling all around us. Felix Trinidad fell at that time. Um, um, uh, they were just all falling. Roy Jones, all of them. Only man to stand through everything, and he somehow, some way, he fucking won every time. And United States can count on him, time in, time out. I don't give a fuck what you say about him. It's this man right here. He held that torch, man. And then, as a personal, you know, Sanchez beat my Puerto Rican fighter, but Wilfredo Benitez, with Holmes, them guys, they, shit, I can't even. Those kind of men really, really made you feel. Look at us, we're here. You needed your kind of fighter to like because the way the Americans, you got to admit, American sports are the pinnacle of all the sports in the world. In fact, football is played nowhere else on planet Earth but in America. It's an American sport. Baseball is like a worldwide sport. Basketball, I don't think hockey is played everywhere in the world either, right? But when it comes to boxing, boxing is truly global. Fighting is a sport that's been going on since the dawn of, you know, the gladiator days, bro. Since two humans can ball up and say, yo, let's take this outside, that's how long fighting's been around, you know? And when it comes to that and the way that, a lot of the stars back then, we talked about this, like the Hector Camachos, he was a great showmanship type of man as far as that regard. And he was really skilled. He was really skilled. But he knew how to captivate an audience. And then there were the men that were real skilled, you know, and our Puerto Rican champions and stuff. And when they were around, they did what they did. They didn't they didn't make you feel small sport. They were giants. They were just different. Those kind they really that's 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 why you fight for. He Camacho and that and then they were good. They were great and they held the torch for but the men that stuff, those kind of they were on a different atmosphere. Trinity. Every one of them did their always. I never got to appreciate. I wasn't old enough to era. You know, I always knew that everybody revered my Muhammad Ali as the greatest heavyweight of all time. You know, later I went and I looked at a lot of his footages, saw what they were talking about. For heavyweight, he was really good. He was, yeah, I mean, he was exceptional. He fucked good. He was really exceptional. What happened to him in his story was unfortunately don't believe that the world got to see once again the best version of Muhammad Ali, if you ask me, opinion, that was stolen from us due to his incarceration of not wanting to serve in the military. And that's what I mean. There's a lot of champions that tragically end, and there's a lot of other champions that were never the same because of their opponent. That's why I speak when Salvador Sanchez died in that car accident, he was never the same man. He fought some more. The Puerto Rican fighter fought some more after that, but his the man that best him was gone, and he wasn't gone in the right way. It was like being the superhero without your villain. It was like Batman without the Joker. And his life, his boxing career didn't make sense anymore, you know, because he met himself and he lost and he wanted to fight him back. And Salvador Sanchez ended up dying fatally in a car accident. And that right there fucked him up. You would think like, man, you know, that's how sacred fighting is, man. It's at a different, you know, to some people it's just different. You know, we take it so personal, you know, because it truly is something that you give your life to. It's your life work. You might not look at it, or some people might not look at it like a professor in a lab, but make no mistake, they're giving the same part of their life to their craft. Just because this guy's book smart and he could put together a fucking rocket doesn't make him n- doesn't make his life work more better than a boxer's life work. You're still giving the same thing, your life, to your craft. And when you play around with that with some men and women, take that very seriously. You ever see like in the movie, you disrespected my master? Ah! Right. Like this is some people don't play that shit. You know? But yeah, so it's like Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. Those were like big American fighters for me. Personal fighters. Come on, man. I'm Puerto Rican. So like Benito, Gomez, Felix Trinidad, Hector Camacho. Those those are just my like like those are my my race fighters. I that I'm Puerto Rican and they're Puerto Rican. Though that's just a different kind of bracket. That's not that's not fair to like mix that bracket in with just my favorite fighters like that because and then I also got Sugar Ray Leonard. Like skill wise, it goes like Sugar Ray and Floyd are like right there. But since Floyd didn't lose, I gotta kind of out of respect put him on the top. But that's a strong argument between Sugar and Floyd, right? And then you got Sweepy Pernell Whitaker, which was like at a level like a lot of these guys uniquely for their styles, they were just fucking good, man. So it's hard, right? But um, when you talk about fighters, you can't just take that fucking 50-0 and just make him like the top dog. I get it, man. He didn't lose, man, and that's fucking strong. That's strong, but as far as technique and shit, man, Sugar was right there with him, and Pinnell was right there with him. Um, there's not too many fighters. I mean, they were quick and fast fighters. I there's a guy in boxing. I can't believe I can't remember his name. He was actually faster than Mayweather, but did he have more skill than Mayweather? No, no. Zab Judah was probably, I think, slightly faster than Mayweather, and he was good skill wise. But did he have the ring IQ? The complete fighter is different, and he was a complete fighter in all aspects. Yeah, he's a complete fighter in all aspects. See? And when he finally retires, that's when a lot of people's mouths are gonna get shut. And that's when in a day when a lot of fucking names are gonna be moved around in the Hall of Fame. You better fucking believe it, bro. Right? And then his record becomes official. And he's just all he has to do in retirement is stay retired, bro. Stay retired. Don't be like one of those dudes. I retire. 2 days, 2 years later, a year later, he's back in the ring. Anyway, at 49, it's making a comeback. Like, don't do that. Doesn't do that. You know, if he does it like Mayweather, I'll respect it. I mean, he's only his own man. He don't need me to tell him what to do, but I just don't like to see the old legends retire and getting knocked out of the ring and those fights count. The reason why Manny Pacquiao, you know, fans can say what they want and they will always support Manny Pacquiao. A lot of people out there will go to their grave arguing that Manny Pacquiao was a better fighter than Floyd Mayweather. The mistake that the fans are making, those kinds of fans are making, is that they're judging Manny Pacquiao for as being an exciting fighter and for being exciting and explosive and venturing through multiple weight divisions. That's great and all, but technically that doesn't make you the best fighter in the world. And what they're doing is they're saying no because he was boring, he ran, he stood there and traded with you. Up, that's the best fighter in the world. Fortunately, that's not the way it works. That's just you forcing the issue of an opinion. You don't like his style. You didn't like how he ran. You didn't like the close decisions that he won. So, by that merit, it makes the other guy better? How does that work? And then the interesting enough, the other guy got 8 losses. He's been knocked out how many times? Oh, and by the way, he actually beat him. So none of that matters. None of that matters because Manny was better. He the fan pleasing, would stand there, wouldn't run from you, would exchange with you, took more risk. Hmm, I see. Took more risk, got knocked out more, he lost more, and he lost to the guy. Somehow, some way, I gotta say to myself, you know what? You're right. Being undefeated, fighting 26 world champions, the most in boxing history, climbing up 5 weight divisions, making the most money. You know what? You guys are right. None of that shit matters. The other guy's better. What if you were Floyd Mayweather? You, you're Floyd. You got 50 and 0. You got all the belts, 26 champions, made the most money. And a guy that you beat, every day you wake up, you turn on the TV and they're looking right at the screen saying, he's the GOAT. He's better than you. What a smack to the face, huh? You actually beat that guy. It's not good enough. He gets knocked out, loses 8 times. They're going to avoid that. You're sitting there watching the TV as probably one of the most decorated champions of all time. And no matter, you can't please everyone in the world, right? Not everybody's going to love you, right? But damn it, now you're not going to even respect what I did? Ain't this a bitch? Can you, honey, can you? I just beat this guy last night. I woke up this morning, and guess what? Guess who they consider the greatest fighter? Him. He, he loses all the. I now, as an undefeated 26-time champion, I have to entertain the notion and actually get on TV and fucking argue this point. Which, as a champion, me being him, I would feel like, bro, are we even talking about this? And they're like, nah, you're fucking boring. You fucking ran. And I'm like, I'm sitting there going, I ran? I ran? I was awarded a decision and not a loss. So you're mad because I won a close fight? You're mad because your opinion says that I lost that fight and the judges gave it to me. So if they give me a fight, guess what? I paid them. The judges are in my pocket. Bro, everything that they put on your name, whether you did it or not, whether it looked like that or not, that must fucking suck sometimes. You know, you walk out and all you wanted to do your entire life was to fight and be a world champion and win. And because you retired the game a winner, they fucking hate you for it. You did everything you needed to do and then some to make sure you fucking win. And in a sport that hundreds and thousands of men and women have entered, how many of them did that? Even the greatest of the legends all tasted defeat. You managed in a fucking corrupt sport. In a sport, you're saying I'm buying the judges. They're buying the judges against me too. All right? Don't think that Floyd had complete control. Because let's just remember, he was swimming in shark infested waters with the rest of them. And not everybody liked it him. Right? And he's playing the game the way it's dealt. And he fucking to manage to do that. And they fucking hate him for it. They hate him for it. Hey, I gotta tell you, man, it's tough being it's tough being on top, huh? You know? Look at Patrick Mahomes, right? Patrick Mahomes wins his third Super Bowl championship. And right away, they start to make the comparisons to Tom Brady. What a disrespect to Tom Brady, bro. How easy your 20-year a body of work. I can win. He was just entering his third Super Bowl. He just won it a few weeks ago. So it's not like he even got the third ring. They haven't even gave him the third ring officially. The ceremony hasn't been presented, right? So that's how brand new that shit is, right? No sooner that he wins that third ring, what they do, they gotta bring up this man's name again, just to attach um um Patrick Mahomes to Tom Brady. Now, some sports fans take that personal, like if Patrick Mahomes actually attached his name to it. No, some fucking media dude wrote an article and got you thinking about Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes never actually did this. But as fans, they take it personal, right? And then they'll start to go back and forth on social media and saying that Patrick Mahomes, in actuality, he couldn't hold Tom Brady's jockstrap. And that's the God honest truth. Even if he was chewing on his jockstrap, I would smack the shit out of him and be like, yo, you shouldn't, you're not even worthy to do that, right? Give me that shit back, right? So, like, because he's not even a fraction of even being close to that man. It's success. The odds of him pulling off just one more Super Bowl, you got to remember that he did the same shit Tom Brady did. Those first three Super Bowls Tom Brady won, and those first three Super Bowls he was in, is because your team was basically still your team. When you win so many Super Bowls and you're not getting number one picks for the next 7, 8 years, you're going to go through that window, the same window Tom Brady went through, where he had a 9 year span where he didn't win the Super Bowl. He participated in two of them, but he lost them. Why? Because New England didn't have a fucking team. And until that fucking happens to Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to tell you right now, that's when you're going to see who he's really made of. Now, in comparison, Patrick Mahomes should just be Patrick Mahomes. We shouldn't really be comparing him to like men like they're like Tom Brady. Allow him to be fucking Patrick Mahomes. Whatever comes out of his career, judge him by what he did, not in comparison to what another man did, because technically that's not fair. You know who Patrick Mahomes has not passed yet? Joe Montana, fucking Bradshaw there. He has a lot of work to go before you start putting him next to a man like this. Look, it's crazy that they're already saying that, like, okay, he wins his third Super Bowl, and like, really putting him in next to this guy, he's nowhere near his touchdown percentage, his passing yards, his wins, his his appearances. He's not like Jesus, he's so far off. And then like if a real educated Brady fan wanted to come on and shut Patrick down, check it out, right? Technically, that boat has sailed for as of, until he catches them in rings, right? Because if you want to get technical, who gave Patrick Mahomes his first professional home loss? Tom Brady. Who beat him? Gave him his first playoff loss. Tom Brady. And who gave him his first Super Bowl loss? Tom Brady to Patrick Mahomes. So when they were in the league together, Tom crushed them. Just saying. So it's like sometimes it's up to the athlete to pay homage and respect to the legends of the game that did it before them and the greats. And when you're close to a legend, pay respect, man. Be respectable. And when you finally pass a legend, also show respect. You could beat your chest and be proud of passing your legend, but when Brady passed Joe Montana, he was truly a class act about it. He wasn't all over social media saying, "Fuck Joe, all this, I'm better than him. I'm the GOAT." Yeah, Brady never ever ever did that to anyone. He showed class, respect, all the way through. And even when he was playing in 20% of all Super Bowls that ever fucking, oh my God, that's an insane number. Ah, right? Um, he still showed humbleness. That was a true champion, and I loved him for that. But um, yeah, legends right here. As far as like where he ends up, um, like I said, when he retires is really when a boxer really gets his flowers, put that crown on his head. Meaning he retires, let's see where he ends up. He's gonna, you know, what they're gonna try to do though, I'm just gonna let you know right now. Um, uh, America is gonna find a way to not acknowledge him as the greatest fighter in the world. What they're gonna do is they're gonna give him 50%. Okay, what I mean by that is they're gonna say, no, he's the greatest fighter in the world for Japan. And he's the greatest fighter in the world for United States and the rest of the world. But anyway, yeah, you know how they are. They're so fucking competitive. Why'd you have to say the rest of the world at the end of that line? No, you know what I mean? Like, that's how they are. Um, Everyone wants to claim the right to having the greatest of any sport. That's what you want. If Michael Jordan was born in Russia, you better believe that the Russians would be, where's Michael from? Where's he born? Russia. I don't care where he played. He's a Russian. You know what I mean? Type shit. So, everybody would like wherever you're from. Wherever you're from, and if you're the best in any sport, then they're gonna want to claim you. How it is. But anyway, guys, listen, thank you. We chopping it up here, talking about random shit. Just made a video, probably delete this video right here. I don't know. It was just like to fix my mic and shit. I know a couple things I gotta fix. I'm gonna have to reset the stream deck because my sound effects are not coming out. I don't think right now. You guys hear that? I just did like a bell sound effect. It says it's registering here, but I don't think it's coming out. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check it out. So anyway, fight fans, thank you for sticking around talking today. We just talked about random shit. I don't even know where this episode went. I even forgot what the fuck I was talking about. Um, but yeah, thanks. Thanks for sticking in and let me know that the mic situation. I see what's going on. See that just gonna have to keep on till I figure out a way, or maybe it's the plug system that I have. I'm gonna go further and look to see if there's another avenue. All right, fight fans, love you guys. Man, it's been a great episode for me. I hope you guys had fun too. Uh really talked about some really tough topics and shit that I really didn't think that would really affect me that much. But man, really guess I love my guys that much, man, huh? So thank you guys sticking in. And on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Peace. Good episode.